Look at us up on Doc Reo TV.
You know what time it is, folks. It's right. It's time for more Doc Reo TV radio. I think, I want to get a little comfortable here. Let's adjust this mic here. I know a lot of individuals out there, and specifically people who do radio shows or people who do announcing or people who do YouTube television or people who prepare their presentations. Generally speaking, anyone who prepares a presentation, usually if it's on radio, there's some kind of script involved. There's some kind of guideline involved. They have an idea of what they want to talk about before they get on the air. Well, today, I'm calling this Wednesday Word Work, all right? And this is another one of those freestyle, free-flowing, get on the air and see what happens type of days, all right? I do that because it helps me stay on my toes, but it also helps me come up with thoughts and things that I want to share with you all out there that I may not have shared before or that I missed in another lesson or that I might just talk. So these talks are random. I might branch off. I might even throw in an advertisement or two. It's just in all how I feel when I do them. So there's no script involved. I may look down and pull up some information or whatever just because sometimes in the thought process I do that. But today we're going to see how this works. So I'm going to call this Wednesday Word Work. Sometimes I'll have a 3-tip Tuesday, motivational Monday, Wednesday's wisdom, but that's usually something short. So that's why I wanted to bring out this word work for any time I come on here and broadcast on Wednesday. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Now, here's one word that I really, I want to laugh about this one because I wasn't even thinking about talking about this, but then I looked down and accidentally clicked something on my notes here, and it says customer service. Now, here's some word work that I want to talk a little bit more about because to me, customer service means that you are serving your customers. And a matter of fact, hold that thought for just a second. I know. I'm not supposed to have any dead air, and I'm not going to have any dead air, but hold that thought because I went to go get the new Lexicon Webster's dictionary. I had to make sure it was new Lexicon Webster's dictionary right here. I keep this big book, as you can see. Those are watching me on Doc Reo TV. And if you listening to this podcast on docreo.com, you can go to the bottom and actually see the video for this podcast. My goal is to keep them both together and produce them both together and get them out there for you. Or if it's something I already produced, and I turn it into a podcast, then I'm going to try to make sure I have a video for it so that those who like to watch, instead of just listen, those who may want to just listen. I haven't got to the point where I'm going to write all this stuff down, but there should be subtitles in there for the hearing impaired, but unfortunately, it's not the best translator. So, at some point in the future, I'll get to making sure these are transcribed properly and put the proper transcriptions in. So I want to definitely apologize to those out there who may be hearing impaired and may not be able to understand what I'm talking about. So, but to get back to that customer service, speaking of customer service, and I can say that many of us are not the best at it, including myself at sometimes. I don't serve the customers well. At least I can't say I serve my personal customers well because I am a student, because I am working at the Veterans Resource Center, because I am involved at the college so much, the university so much, at California State University, Northridge, that I don't get an opportunity to serve my audience the way I would really like to serve my audience. So sometimes I'm missing a lot of the messages that are coming through. I know some people are calling the message line, and I'm not getting messages, but people are calling the message line. So that's a good thing. I just hope that if you're calling the message line and you hear the message, that you just leave a message if you really want to get in contact with me. But for me, I will be able to serve my community, or I'll be able to serve the customers better when I am out of school and when I'm focused mostly on my audience. So, I was talking with Grant Cardone, and this is about a year ago, and I briefly Snapchat. We used to Snapchat back and forth, little small messages. But I was talking with him. I'm like, yeah, I want to go to GrowthCon, but I want to wait till I graduate first. I want to finish my first goal, complete that goal, and then I can go and be a part of this community that he's been building. This awesome community. And when I was talking to him, I figured I would have graduated in May of 2019, but I was not so lucky, should I say. There were a couple of units that I didn't notice floating around and that my advisors did not notice floating around. So, of course, I'm still going, and I will be graduating in December, God willing. And I say God willing because I may have an issue with my internship right now, because I may have selected an internship that can only be done during the summer. And so I have to get that other internship in there. I have to have 2 internships, or I just have to take a certain amount of things my senior year. And this is my last go at it. And I want to get it all in there, get registered, get ready, and get it done. And I was thinking about customer service, how we as veterans at the Veterans Resource Center serve our customers, but also how I serve my customers out here. And I also started to think about how other companies serve people. Like, for instance, where's this card at? Oh, hold up. I got this card on my car, okay? I pulled my car. I was having nice brunch, and I should show you a picture of that nice brunch. Let's see if I can pop that up on the screen when I reproduce this for video. But I was having lunch, we kind of overate, and we were sitting there, and it was kind of a business lunch slash, just, sit down, break down, talk about general things with a friend of mine who I'm going to be doing some business with. And so we're sitting down, and we're eating lunch, and we're enjoying lunch, and we get out and we walk out. We got that full feeling, that nice sway. We'd had a little wine too, so we got that nice little sway going in our minds and bodies. And we get to the car, and I'm like, oh man, I ain't when people put these things on my car. And I look, and I'm like, oh, it's a Mercedes. Hey, that's actually something I want to actually look into, a Mercedes repair place. So I'm like, okay, I'll check it out another time. So think nothing of it, and I decide that I want to save some gas and ride around the neighborhood on my scooter a couple of days ago. It was a couple of days ago. And I like riding a scooter. It's actually good fun. It's good. It's a good mental break from the day-to-day. And if you're like me and you're sitting in front of a computer all day, if you go and ride the scooter for about 20, 30 minutes, and go out there and actually, try to have fun with it, you actually get in a little bit of that exercise, that cardiovascular you need, and that leg movement, that arm movement. So I can get some exercise from, the scooter. But anyway, and I'm going to do a review on the 9-bot Segway scooters, because I got 2 of them, folks. So I'm definitely going to do a review about them. There's a reason why I got 2, and that should tell you how much I like them. So now I just happen to see the name of this place in a shopping center that I frequent. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that car repair place was the same repair place that was putting this card on my car. If I would have known that, then I probably would have stopped by there before and checked them out. Let me see what, I may need to get an alternator soon. This is going through my head now. I may need to get an alternator soon. So why don't I go ahead and go check out there, see if I can get a price on, on labor and parts for an alternator change on my car. So I walk in the door, and it's really hot outside. Now, I got my scooter, but I'm not sweaty, but I feel a little hot, So when I walk in this place, I'm like, whew. I'm like, hey, someone. I saw the person at the front desk. She looked at me, so I'm thinking it's, hey, all right for me to speak with her. I'm like, hi. She's like, hi, and then we're talking for a brief moment, And while we're talking for a brief moment, I'm like, hey, somebody put this on my car while I was out eating, and I wanted, and as soon as I said, and I wanted to know, because that was really my sentence, and I wanted to, she goes, hold on for a second while I'm texting a customer. And I'm like, okay, I get that, but texting a customer, okay, hold on for a second. All right, got you. Okay, all right, got you. Not really sure if you texted a customer, but she might have been texting a customer. All right. So, and then the reason why I'm not really sure if she was texting a customer, and the reason why I felt really like strange when I dealt with them is afterwards, I start my sentence over at the part of I wanted to know if the price on an alternator. I wanted to know how much it would cost to get an alternator changed out. The first thing she asked me is the car running? And the way she said it was the way she said it. Is the car running? Like, do you have a working car? She gave me the look up and down look first, and I felt the glance. I saw her look me up and down and then ask me if the car was running. I said, yeah, the car's running. I just wanted to know in advance just in case I do need one, And then she looked at me like kind of funny, and I said, well, can you give me a price? And she goes, well, I'd have to go through all this stuff to give me a price. I said, well, can't you find out what the part is and how much labor is, And then she goes, a guy walks in the door right behind, an older white gentleman who looks like he's, been there before. And, he walks in behind me. And when he walks in behind me, all of a sudden her attention started to fade from me really quickly to go to him. And she was like, well, hold on. Well, the part's $300, and that should tell you a general idea of what it's going to cost. And I'm like, well, what's the labor prices here? Well, I have to look that up. And I went, really? There's no general labor price? You can't give me a general roundabout price? I'm coming in. You all advertised to me. They advertised to me. I walked in the door, and they acted like they didn't want me as a customer. They acted like they didn't want to serve me. And so it's not necessarily, and I actually examined this a couple of times because I know for myself I've had some issues throughout my life with how things that I'm telling myself and not understanding what other people are telling themselves. And that communication blockage has caused me to assume the worst. I've had that. And I kind of analyzed it from all angles. And when I got home, it just plays in my head. Things like that play in my head like a recorder. And a lot of times I'll see where I'm wrong in the scenario. But I realized I was very patient. And when she said, oh, I'm sorry about that, I was like, oh, no, it's cool. I just wanted to know. And I was very nice and polite in everything I did. So when I look back at it, I feel like they were more worried about the customer who would wait. Who would have waited if you were talking to a customer, and I know if I'm a paying customer and I've already been there before, I'll wait if you already have a customer standing at the counter. It's just I know I gotta wait, but to me, it seemed as though that she wanted to push me out of the way because she didn't think that I would be able to afford or that I was worth being a customer. And that to me is just wrong. You don't ever know what customer or what the customer or who the customer is. You should always reach out to the customer. If you're advertising, if you're spending money on advertising to get customers and they reach out to you and you don't ever reach out to them, no matter if it's when they walk in the door or if it's on text or message or whatever, and you like, if you don't get a message, I understand. If you don't get a way to contact somebody back, or you don't know why somebody called, or you don't know if a telemarketer or whatever, I can understand all that. But I'm talking about when the person is face to face with you, and that could be a paying customer. You just don't let them walk away like that. Now, I probably wasn't going to use them because I have other places that probably have the prices a little bit lower. But, hey, if you want clients, if you're spending the money to get clients, you should actually take care of those clients. And to go back to what I was talking about before, I was talking about how I feel like sometimes that I misinterpret things. And I know that's true. I know that's true because I have a lot of self-doubt myself. I have a lot of self-doubt myself. You know, the strangest thing about that is that people think that those who are out there in the limelight and those who are out there and been out there performing and do all this and have extravagant lifestyles and extravagant means don't have self-esteem issues. When in actuality, those are the people who have the biggest self-esteem issues. I grew up on stages. I have big self-esteem issues. And a lot of times I am working through those. You know, I'm pushing myself to work through them. I'm looking at myself, seeing how I present myself. And not all times do I present myself correctly. Not all times do I do things in the correct way to give the impression that I want to convey. You see, everything we do is all about a sender, a message, and a receiver. Everything we do. You know, whether it's selling a product, whether it's communicating a thought, whether it's building something, we do it to communicate a message that we are trying to send out to somebody else. We do it to give and show someone else something. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean? We give and show. When we create something so somebody else can be shown it so that they can either use it or buy it or like it, right? We create things to give to people or to sell to people. We're all creators. Everybody's sitting on the other side of this lens or listening to on the other side of this microphone. All of you are creators. And I know a lot of people are like, man, I can't create anything. I don't know how to create anything. First of all, that's the first thing you got to learn about being a human being. We are designed to create. We are designed to work. We are designed to manifest something because we were manifested. It's a cycle of nature. It's a cycle of life. And psychologically, we got to get past the point that we are not creators because we all are creators. You know, we might create the smallest thing and it could affect someone's life in a very, very large way. So just think about that. As a matter of fact, I was watching, I actually downloaded the Scientology channel. You know why? Because the Church of Scientology, it may feel strange. You may get the wrong impression about the Church of Scientology or whatever. I'm not a Scientologist. I just want to tell you that right off the bat. I'm not trying to promote Scientology. What I am doing, though, is reverting back to the knowledge that they carry. You see, I've been to most religious institutions, a lot of different religious institutions around the world, and their libraries that they offer to the community seem to be very small. They have a lot of books, they have a lot of literature, they have a lot of stuff, but they keep it locked within their sanctuaries. They keep it for studying within. You have to be a full-fledged member and be part of everything and be in the light of being trained in order to get educated in some of the things that will help your life. Or you have to just be a member of their congregation and listen to them tell you what you should do for your life. And there is one thing about Scientology, that one statement, and I've always believed this myself as well. What is true for you is true for you. And that's a serious point there. We all only take what is true for us. Like, I might go into a church and I might fully believe in Christianity, but I might listen to the pastor and be like, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. I've been there, done that. Been in a church and listened to a pastor quote from the Bible and have his verse all screwed up and talk about it in a totally different light that didn't even seem to fit what the passage said. And then at the end of the presentation, I'm going to call it a presentation because it was not a sermon, he said, those of you all, it's tithing time, and those of you all who are giving more than $20 on this, get in a line on this side, and those of you all giving less than $20, get in a line on this side. I'm like, that didn't just happen in a church, did it? That really didn't just happen. That just boom, blew my mind. You know what I mean? I can't understand, I can't fathom a pastor or a preacher or a reverend telling his congregation that we're going to differentiate you according to how much you tithe. We're going to guilt trip you because you're standing in the small line that didn't give more than $20. That just doesn't compute. It tells me that this particular reverend who was wearing a Rolex watch, diamond rings, gold around his neck, Armani suits, Italian leather shoes. Okay, I watched all this now. All right. And then when he left, got out in a brand new Cadillac. All right. Now, I don't know about you, but that would make me question his truth. It made me question his truth. I know that. And so when I talk about Scientology in this sense, I'm not saying go in there and learn and become a Scientologist. What I am saying is go in there and find out what kind of books you can grab from them, what kind of knowledge you can grab from them, and use it for yourself the way you feel it's true, the way you feel it works out for you. And so I was watching this channel, and I just wanted a little bit more information because I know I've been by Scientology. We tried to film something out there with, oh, wow, I can't even remember her name, Kathy Lee Gifford. All right. Kathy Lee Gifford. All right. And we were going to film this kind of bit with Kathy Lee that she kind of talks about Scientology in a sense. So we got across the street of the Scientology building. We had a whole crew and everything. It was a NBC promo team. That building that used to be on Burbank on the corner, NBC in Burbank, that the NBC studio they sold. That side corner studio, which is on the weird road by the airport, Burbank and what is that dang street? But anyway, it's got that weird split street right off the freeway, right off the 101, that whole area right in Studio City. There was an NBC Studios right there, and they used to do NBC promos, and I used to work with the promo crew, and we were doing a promo, and we spent the whole day with her talking about her business, talking about how she's evolving, and then we were going to shoot something across the street from the Scientology building. While we're standing across the street with the cameras set up facing toward the Scientology building, but the cameras were set up across the street, not on their property. Their minions, I'm going to say minions because they were minions dressed in the suits, came across the street and told us we couldn't film in that direction. That to me already told me right there to be leery about Scientology. When you can go across the street and tell someone in a free country that they cannot film in the direction of your building, something's wrong. This is a free country. We should be able to do what we want to do. That part of the shoot we didn't finish. Kathy Lee was a little worried. I can see it in her eyes. She was worried that her career was going to be doomed by this. And that also to me makes me worry. Because if you did what you were supposed to do as with freedom of speech, you could lose your career going against Scientology off of something as simple as doing a video shoot across the street where you're being filmed partially in front of the building. And I don't even think we were going to really talk about Scientology that much. I think it was going to be brief because it's just a piece of Hollywood. And I don't know. At that point, I'd be honest with you, I was a PA, a hire-on PA that they called all the time, and so I didn't really know what we were going to do there. But what I do know is that we didn't do it. We gave up the day. We wasted the day, and that to me seems like it shouldn't be possible. It shouldn't be possible, but. What I do know about Scientology is that they have the biggest library on self-help. I say that again. They have the biggest library on self-help. How many religious institutions do you know have a large library on self-help that you can access without being a member. I start to think about that. And if anything, I could just go online and just buy all their books. I don't have to go into the Scientology building. I could buy as many books and read them myself and learn from them myself and take what I want from them, take the truth that I want out of them and use them to be my truth. And that's important. And I just realized the air conditioner is on right now, but I'm going to keep rolling on because, you know, that's how we do. I think having that access and having that knowledge to that access helps us with these things we call self-doubt. Helps us with these things that we are trying to overcome, accomplish in our life. Helps us to learn how to communicate better. Helps us learn how to be better. And it's challenging. It's challenging because we got to work at it. Life is not an easy thing. Life is something that takes work to continue. And I know a lot of people who think that life is easy. And unfortunately, some of those people find out the hard way that it's not. And when they find out the hard way that it's not, unfortunately, they think of another route to handle, other ways of handling, like drugs, alcohol abuse, all kind of things. Don't get me wrong. I can't say I haven't abused. You know, I've done things that I shouldn't have done in my own life. But I have friends who not only have thought about it, have. And I recommend that if you or anybody you know is thinking about committing suicide, having bouts with depression, anxiety, and trying to get through, help them get help. Help them make it to the next level. You know, try to be there for them. Try to talk to them. Because that's all we can do, is attempt to communicate with those people who need to be communicated with, who need that compassion, who need that part of us that we give out. And the hardest part about that, is things are always going to fall in your way. There's never any, I want to say there's never really any downtime. People get complacent when there's downtime. And when we get complacent, that's when the real bad stuff starts to happen. So it's probably much better off that we take the obstacles that we have and just keep running with those. Not looking for new ones, not trying to avoid them, but just take the ones that we have in front of us. Because when we do that, we're actually on our path in the right direction that we're going. And don't get me wrong, I have a problem with that one. I do. I have a problem with that one. I don't want to say often, but I do have a problem with that one because there are a lot of times I don't want to do stuff. Let me move this mic a little bit. There are a lot of times I don't want to do stuff. I just don't want to do it. I mean, is it wrong? Is it wrong that each of us don't want to do things at certain times because we feel the need that we want to do something else, or we feel the need that we don't have to do that because we feel entitled maybe? I don't know. I can't say I feel entitled. But, you know, I got this thing about trying to see if I can do an hour of power, the power hour. And so since I didn't really get to the word yet, let's do two things. I want to do two things. Since the word is customer service, I want to go to customer, and use the new Lexicon Webster's dictionary to define these words. Customer. So, and the reason why I want to do that is because I think a lot of people, including myself, overlook the fact that definitions not only have meaning, but they actually guide how we use the words. And this word customer service has been overused, abused, and everything else over the past hundreds of years. by people who either knew what it really means or people who didn't care what it means. So there's two sides of this. It seems that sometimes the people who have all the knowledge will abuse the things that they know, what it means and how to get around. And the people that without the knowledge tend to get ran over because they don't know the information that they're being abused about. So that's why I think it was important when I learned that Malcolm X learned how to read in jail. And the way he did it was he picked up a dictionary and he read the dictionary every day and would write everything that was on the pages of the dictionary. So he spent time reading the word, writing the word, reading the word, writing the word, and became such an eloquent speaker. He became such a powerful presenter. He became such a strong figure for Black pride and Black community. So I think it's important to understand that knowledge is not only power, knowledge is guidance, knowledge is strength, knowledge is fuel. So with that being said, I think it's time I find customer. The only problem with these pop filters, they do protect. I mean, keep the what's the word I'm looking for? I just lost the word. It starts with a P. Customer. You would think I'd have it marked. Customer. Okay, so customer. Let's see. Customer, a person wishing to make a purchase from a store or firm, someone who buys regularly from a particular store or firm, a person with respect to the dealings one has or may have with them, an awkward customer. Okay, wait a minute. Let's back up. A person with respect to the dealings one has or may have with him. Even that little presence. Monaco Motors receptionist wasn't even having dealings with me. Wasn't even looking at me as a customer. You know, I'm coming in to have dealings with them, and I was being pushed away from the dealings. I was being ignored, slightly ignored when I came in the door, slightly patronized when I was given their attention, because the look on her face was like, I don't want to talk to him. I just be honest. When I looked up, it was like, okay, I'm going to give you your time now. And I'm like, wow. And that may not. She may have other things. She may be trying to deal with kids at home. She may be trying to deal with a husband who's maybe, I don't want to say this, but a husband may be cheating on her or treating her bad. Or she might be dealing with bills that she's got to take care of. She might have all kind of stuff in her mind. And that text message might have been really important for her. And it might have been disturbing for her. And that might have been the first thing on her mind, is she wanted to get these customers out of her way so she can go ahead and get to what she had to deal with. However, customer service, we got to remember it, including me. You see, I'm not even pointing at y'all. We got to remember it. We got to remember that customer service is more important. And I'm going to use all fingers at me. We got to remember. So, service. Gotta recognize the people you have dealings with. People who want to purchase things from you. People who regularly purchase things from you. That's the definition right there. And so, with service comes a little bit more info. Now, they don't have, yes, they do actually have service. Wow. Servitus, service. Okay, here it is. So there's two definitions of service, and one starts with the talking about service as in Robert Williams, Canadian writer known for his ballads. All right. And then it starts talking about his ballads, and then it goes down and says service, a noun. The occupation of being a servant. Government employment, a branch of government employment. The diplomatic service, a branch, Army, Navy, etc., of the armed forces, or the armed forces as a career or occupation. The performance of military duties, especially in war. He saw service on several fronts. That's what they're talking about. The products of an employee's or professional man's paid activities. The products, what the service we give, okay? Your activities. Let me see. The next one is assistance or advantage given to another. The benefit derived from this use, still in service. A set form of public worship or the music written for this service. Notification of legal action by delivery of a summons to be served. The act or manner of serving the ball. To serve a ball. To a turn to serve. A ball served. Utilities, either gas, a service that you're being provided to a building. The act or manner of serving food, a service being provided, especially in a restaurant, maintenance, repairs, etc., provided by a dealer for items bought from him. So wait, let's rewind. Even in the word service, it starts talking about customer. You can only really either serve somebody who is your customer or somebody who is a customer, someone having dealings with you. If you serve anyone, it is going to be a customer. Even if it's a patron is a customer. A member of the congregation is a customer. A member of a school is a customer to the school. Everyone's a customer. I don't even know how I can go even further on that one, but that's it. I digress on customer service. I could have gone longer. I really had more I wanted to say about that, but I was trying to cut myself short and actually dig in to the word work. So do your word work, folks. Do your word work. Get yourself a big dictionary and start digging through it. Start reading this stuff. You know, if you got to do it on hump day, I do mine sometimes on hump day, sometimes any other day, but do your word work. Dig in, start looking at the definitions and comparing how these words relate to each other. Because remember, the English language is built off the idea of defining words all the way down to a T. In other languages, we use the same word with different body language or facial expressions or sounds to convey a message. But in English, there are words to replace that body language and sounds and facial expressions, even though we still give them when we communicate. But understand these words and understand that we have to take in this knowledge so that we can serve our customers. This is Doc. Stay tuned for the Doc Reo Roll. As a matter of fact, I'm going to step on out of here. Actually, I don't even know if I should do, those looking on video, get the Doc Reo Roll, and those not, we'll see you soon. Stay tuned. I'm out of here. Peace.
There it is. If you need to reach us on Facebook, it's at doc.reo, yeah. On Twitter at Doc Reo Rants. On Instagram, the picture way. And every time I come, I'm here to stay. Snapping photos and get it right. It's at Doc Reo tonight. Say, on YouTube, you can't stop by Doc Reo TV. That's where you see me. That's where you see me. Hit us up on ReoBucks.com. Yeah. Back to your regularly scheduled program now. Peace. I'm out. Doc Reo TV.